It's very concerning now with the change in the eminent domain laws in 2015 that now give business entities such as Enbridge the power to utilize eminent domain.
Hi, Jule Reisner. This is my wife Lorene. This is our house right behind us here. We started out here, I think, in about 1985. And the first year we come here, we had a mobile home set up here. And then it was about 91, I think, we built a house. Okay, now we're just going to be walking along. We're on the easement right now, walking in a southeasterly direction in the way that the oil flows down to Illinois, on the way to the Gulf, coming from Canada. We're looking right now in a northwestern direction. So the oil would be coming right out of around Duluth, Superior. Prior to purchasing the property, or when we purchased the property, we actually went to Enbridge or Lakehead Pipeline, then asked about the pipeline, whether or not it was okay to be building here or starting our home here. And we were told at that time that you could build right up tight to the easement, no problems, nothing, and there was nothing else going to be happening.
My husband came home from work one day and was mortified to see trees laying down all over. They had kind of stayed at the edge of the easement until they were visually past the corner of our house, and then they stepped in for 15 feet and just mowed down every single tree that was there. What we were left with was solid clay ground, and what they tried to plant that. One of the issues that precipitated a breakdown in our negotiations with any type of a settlement, and that would be in addition to the fact that they did not reclaim our property, was that the right-of-way agent came to our home with a timber report, said that showed the value of our trees that they had removed, which, as we knew, was 65 trees, stated that the value of that timber was $19.22. We let him know that we certainly would not accept such a settlement offer. The right-of-way agent actually, at that time, lost his temper and started hollering at us in our home and actually swore at us. Approximately a year later, we had a knock on the door, and it was yet a different right-of-way agent that came and said out of the blue, I'm here to settle for your damages related to the pipeline. Tell me what it would take for you to settle. Without blinking an eye, out of the blue they came, wrote a check that night. It turned out that they were doing that because there was a new project planned. When the two lines were being placed, the right-of-way agent came to negotiate for an additional 100 feet. All of the trees that you see right now around you, all of these trees are included in that additional 100 feet of temporary workspace because that 100 feet is unfortunately on the home side of our property. So as you look around, that 100 feet would way out to the western edge of our property, would take all of our pine trees except for 3. It would have decimated our entire garden. The 100-foot line came within 9 feet of the edge of our pool, 25 feet from the edge of, or the corner of our deck, and all of these trees would be gone. If we're going to lose our trees, we're going to negotiate for a decent price for our trees. Enbridge decided that the deal was not getting closed in an appropriate amount of time, so they sent yet a different right-of-way agent in who was much, much more aggressive and no nonsense. And Jule, I'm going to let you.
Yeah, I think he thought he could get it done right away. He brought him in the house, sat down at the table, and of course he's going through all of his nonsense, and we were getting upset by then too, And I think that's about the time I think we threw out a tape recorder on the table and let him know that we've been taping all along all the negotiations and talking about what they had said, what they were going to pay, what they were paying other people, and he got a little upset, jumped up, said that's against the law. You can't tape. You can't tape this. It's against the law. It was, of course, my wife says no, it's not. In Wisconsin, it's legal, and he shut his mouth, walked out the door, and we didn't see him again for a while then.
And then it turned into, well, we're going to take the entire 100 feet and we're not going to give you anything for the trees and we're not removing the stumps either. So that's what we were left with. And so he eventually, after making several cold calls, wound up connecting with an arborist. He did a full assessment of all of our trees. He did borings of all of the trees. He counted the trees and did a formal report listing what the value of the loss and reclamation of the loss of value and the reclamation of our property would entail. And it actually was over $58,000. In the end, even though we did receive letters from attorneys saying that they were going to take us to court, but in the end, they used the stovepiping and they did not cut into our trees whatsoever. It's very concerning now with the change in the eminent domain laws in 2015 that now give business entities such as Enbridge the power to utilize eminent domain and take away the things that people like my husband and I have worked our entire lives to create and achieve. We are at the stage now in our lives where we are getting to the point of, thinking of establishing our retirement home. With the concerns that we have heard about potential expansion of the pipeline and taking up to 200 to possibly 300 feet in additional workspace to achieve the addition of more lines, which will no longer fit in their current easement, that leaves us with questions. We're looking at adding a second story to our home so we have room to house our children and our grandchildren when they come home to visit. We are at the stage of retiring our above ground pool and putting in an in-ground pool. Are these things that we can't do? And should we have to be faced with those decisions and those questions?